Hello, this is this week's edition of the Ramblin Runnels podcast. This makes episode 3. Hopefully this episode will be one of the better episodes. I'm going to try to make this one longer than, 6 minutes or so, but we'll see. Bear with me. I'm still early on in my podcasting experience, so you could say what happened this week. This week, Anthony Davis demanded a trade from the New Orleans Pelicans, and that really, upset me and hurt me because, I'm a pretty big New Orleans Pelicans fan. I liked Anthony Davis's tenure here in New Orleans. He was a real blue-collar kind of guy. He just, he was a real hard worker for us. He brought us to playoffs, and I would say he was, as far as basketball players, he's one of the best basketball players to ever come to New Orleans, and I'll just remember him for that. I'm gonna try to not let it hurt me. Let's talk about who we should get or how this trade will happen and all that. I think that if he goes to the Lakers, or I just feel that trade is just going to be a bad trade. It won't be of equal value to me personally. If we were to trade with the Lakers, we should get LeBron James for Anthony Davis, because that's the only fair trade I see, rather than they have some decent players, but that's not going to be as equal value as the polarizing stars. Anthony Davis, he's like top 3 players in the league, and it's justifiable that he wants to go somewhere else and compete for a championship. So we'll see how this all happens, but honestly, I just hope we get somebody good. The other team that I see that would be a decent trade is Boston. His dad made that comment about, Boston, not wanting to keep players, or, because of Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas played for the Celtics, and, he got hurt, so they just traded him, but he was, a really good player for them, so, they don't really, you're always, expendable up there. I guess that's the way Anthony's dad sees it, but we'll see. Hopefully Dell Demps doesn't mess this up. Dell Demps is the general manager for the Pelicans, so if he messes this up, I think it's time to cut the cord on old Dell Demps and get a new general manager, because I feel that this will be a career-defining moment for him. Let's talk about some different things in sports. I think today is the Super Bowl in the NFL, and I will not watch it because, the Saints aren't playing. So why should I watch it? We were cheated out of the Super Bowl, so, I feel like, what's the point? Because, the team that's in the Super Bowl really shouldn't be there. I feel like, they're just trying to get more Los Angeles Rams fans. And how many times can Tom Brady go to the Super Bowl? I just don't care. I think I'm done watching the NFL. It's like they pull the strings on who's going to win the games before the games even happen. It's like a different version of wrestling, just guys in costumes out there following a script. Well, just like the WWE is, they always say who's gonna win. They already know who's gonna win before the fact, except the coaches, I guess, because Sean Payton was pretty upset about the outcome of this last game, and it took Roger Goodell 10 days to respond to the Rams-Saints game, and that's awful. You have a commissioner just obviously doesn't respect the players that he's in charge of, and he doesn't care about fair outcomes and that sort of thing, obviously, based on the outcome of the Rams-Saints game. And I think it'll be a long time before I decide to watch NFL until they get a new commissioner. I feel that it's there's not really a point to watch it because you got this crook Roger Goodell running the NFL, so he really doesn't care about, anything probably other than himself. So that's how I see that. Let's talk about something other than sports. Let's move on. This week, some friends of mine and me and my wife, this past Wednesday, we went to a trivia night, and the trivia was for Harry Potter, and it was an interesting evening. It was pretty cold that night. It was I think it was in the 40s, and it's pretty cold for here in Louisiana, and I think we did pretty good as a team. I didn't really know an awful lot. It's been a long time since I watched those movies, but our friends knew some of the answers, and my wife obviously knows some of the answers, but it sucked because we should have got there earlier, because if we got there earlier, we could have been inside and in the, where the heater was running and been comfortable, but we were stuck outside for most of the time, and that was pretty miserable. I didn't enjoy that. It's also pretty crowded, and I don't know, they always, the other, I've been to a couple of these trivias, and they always ask questions that they try to trip you up on, and I don't know, it was difficult. It was pretty crowded. It's a bunch of LSU college kids, and I guess in my age now, because I'm 30, I do not enjoy college kids. I don't know what it is about them. I guess it's because, the lack of responsibility or whatever, because they're in college, and I guess I'm jealous. I don't know. I wish I had that easier lifestyle like they do, but yeah, I don't know, I just don't like them for whatever reason. And then a couple of times during that night, I was the runner for the trivia, and I was trying to get through these crowds of people in the bar that was in, and somebody was in my way, and I was there. I was like, "Excuse me," and then they wouldn't move, so I was like, "Get the fuck out of the way!" And then I guess they moved in, or I just walked by them or whatever. But I was getting really irritated by all that. And then one point we finally got back inside the bar towards the end of the trivia, and I remember there was a guy there that there was these guys sitting around the pool table, and they had an empty chair, and I was like, well, all right, I'm gonna take this chair. I want to sit down. And then they were like, well, we're saving it for our friend. And I was like, well, where is he? Their friend. And then I took the chair, and then I was like, give it back, it's for our friend. And then well, if he doesn't come in 5 minutes, I'm taking the chair. But lo and behold, their friend finally came, and I was like, oh shit, I guess I'm an asshole or whatever. But yeah, that's how I kind of felt bad after that. But I don't know, actually I don't really feel that bad, it's just some, prick college kids, Well, they need to sit down they get to sit down all day on their classes, have to work. Have to stand, probably half my day, so I don't feel bad for them at all. But also this week, I had to go to New Orleans I had a dermatology appointment with the VA, because the VA is my healthcare provider, because I'm a veteran. It's cheaper for me that way. So I went down there, and it's kind of an embarrassing story, but I had to get a BB removed from my back, because a long time ago when I was a kid, my mom shot me with a BB gun in the back, and I remember that being incredibly painful. And I don't know, it just took forever to finally get it taken out, so I guess it's been probably over 10 years, at least 15, I would say, give or take. And finally, this is the first time I ever got stitches, and it's been an interesting experience. It doesn't hurt, but it didn't hurt when I got it, because they did local anesthesia to pull the BB out of my back. But yeah, I had to get a BB removed out of my back. I don't know, it is what it is. But yeah, that happened this week. After I had the BB removed from my back at the VA, I went to Laplace, Louisiana, which is right outside New Orleans. New Orleans is where the VA that I had to go to do the procedure at. But when I went after, I went to Laplace to go to Dunkin Donuts because that's the closest Dunkin Donuts to where I live, and because they closed all the locations in Baton Rouge, so I was like, well, I might as well go to Dunkin' because, I don't know when the next opportunity will be. So I went there and got my coffee and my wake up wrap, and I got my wife some coffee too because, I brought it to her before I went back to work, and it's pretty good. I miss having Dunkin' here in Baton Rouge. It's good, cheap coffee. You can't beat that. And, they actually do like breakfast sandwiches too, which I think are better than, like Starbucks and all the coffee places around here. So I really miss Dunkin' around here. I don't know why they closed, but I'm pretty sure Drew Brees, owns all the franchises, at least in that area. I don't know if he owned the ones up here in Baton Rouge, but if he does, I hope they, at least open one location back here in Baton Rouge, because it'll be a lot more convenient for me and my wife, because we both love Dunkin', and everywhere we go, we just, if we travel, we try to go to Dunkin' at least a couple times while we're there. So because I know there's one back where my wife's parents live, so we go there frequently while we're visiting. And, Dunkin's great. I remember when we went up to Maine last September for a wedding, and there's a bunch of Dunkins in the Northeast. There's one on every corner, it seemed like. There's just, I'm pretty sure Dunkin Donuts started in Boston, so yeah. I would say Dunkin' Donuts is better than Starbucks. You heard that here. It is. It just very much is better than Starbucks. They have better food. The coffee's reasonably priced. You're not, I feel like when you go to Starbucks, you might as well give them an appendage, like your arm or something, to pay for the coffee, because it's overpriced and it's not as good. Dunkin's cheap, and it's you wake up, it's good coffee, and especially you get to crunch down on the sugar after they've given you your large iced coffee, because they put too much sugar in it. But whatever, that's fine with me, and you could tell them no sugar or whatever. It's all however you want your coffee. But yeah, we need more Dunkin' here in Baton Rouge. Come on. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast, and you can subscribe to it now on iTunes, and it's on Google's, Android's, any app you can get in the Google Play Store as well. It's also on SoundCloud too. So please give this week's episode a listen, and